There we go. Got it. Sorry, guys. Oh, man, that means you didn't get to jam out to the music and stuff. I'm so sorry for that. All right, now we should have sound. I had it muted. I'm a moron. There we go. Got it. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, man, that means you didn't get to jam out to the music and stuff. Okay, it's definitely working now because I can hear it on my Rumble. So maybe refresh. I love it. I love it when we have technical issues right at the front of the show. See if we can get through the show without the plug to the phone here. Let me tie this up because that's how I've been watching my chat because I cannot bring myself to buy a third screen. And I swear, my eyebrows are just getting lighter and lighter. I'm gonna have to start. Look, I got weird. You guys, I mean, if you're a girl, if you're a guy, maybe you don't care, but like when you're a girl, what's going on there? You're programmed to care. You're programmed to get on and be like, what is this one glob of bangs here that won't evenly spread out so that I don't look like, well, I've definitely made it worse. I swear I don't drink before the show. I don't really drink much at all. There. It's you have no idea what an art it is to get one's bangs right. Bangs are the hardest thing to get right. I can hear you after refreshing. It was my end. I'm so sorry. Welcome, Sonia and Debbie, Enlightened, Frugal Tinkerer. Hi. Who else? Tennessee Woman. Welcome. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see everybody. Let's see who's watching. Oh, we've got comments over here too. Christopher Sandman, welcome. Kay, there we go. We got sound. It's not just you, love. We got it. Mary Louise, hi. And Christopher Sandman watching over on, where are you guys watching from? I can't tell for some reason. Well, wherever you're watching from, welcome. And you should have sound now. So what a crazy week it's been. We got my brother all settled. We went to the funeral Sunday for his friend Grayson, and that was really sad. But I know I have dippity do. Christopher Sandman with the excellent suggestions. Apparently, I didn't dippity do it enough, and it's just not wanting to stay. My hair used to like, it's so fine. So when I went on chemotherapy years and years ago, because I had, what is it called? Neurovasculitis, which is an inflammation in the vessels in your brain that can cause a stroke. And it was really serious. And so they put me on chemotherapy to settle that down. And I had really thick, coarse, curly hair. And it was just coming out in clumps. And I'm like, this is nuts. This is so depressing. I'm not that attached to my hair. I'll just shave it off. You really don't realize how attached you are to your hair until you shave your head. And I have a beautiful bald head, but it's just much better with hair. I kind of looked like an egg. And while men can pull that off because they can have facial hair, I think if I could grow some facial hair. I mean, I told you guys a couple of weeks ago I'm working on a beard, right? So I found a hair here and it was like this long and it was black and I got all overdone. I'm like, what do I pay you for? You're my husband. Really, your only job is to make sure before I go on here that I don't have boogers up my nose, nothing on my teeth, and I'm not growing a beard. But alas, he's failing. And so then I found that one. Then I found another one. And I thought, son of a bitch. I had a Joe Biden moment. I'm like, how long have I been growing a beard? Then I found one down here. What the hell is going on? Menopause, something's not right. I don't know what it is. If you're growing a beard, then, hit that like button because I got to feel like I'm not alone. And I told Don, I'm just going to embrace it. Like I cannot embrace going gray. And I've got you can kind of see them. There's little grays in there. I can't embrace going gray. I just can't do it. I'm only 53 and I've had gray hair since I was in my 30s. The beard I'm going to embrace because it seems like now is the time when this would be okay. And why pluck and wax and do what chemical my face when it is totally acceptable to be a girl with a beard now. And so it's only those 3 hairs I've been monitoring and they keep coming back in the same spots. And I'm thinking if I could get them long enough, because there's one here, and I could just do like a little sideways braid and eventually it would hide this little double chin that I've got. See, You just got to have a plan. Do you have a plan, folks? That's your problem. You don't have a plan. I'm adding this new feature today, and it's called Word of the Day. And here we go with it because I learned a word today, and I believe I've heard the word before, but I just heard it used in. If you guys don't subscribe on Rumble to Odin's Men, Odins, he's hysterical. He's an older guy, probably, well, it's not old. He's probably about my age. Um, and he's got just the funniest takes on what the heck is going on in this clown world, right? And so he gets videos off of TikTok, and then he basically just has little rants about what the hell is going on here. And I'm in a cussing mood. I went to a funeral last Sunday, so I just got to work it out of my system. Lord, forgive me. So word of the day, back on track, and here we go. But I think I'm a troglodyte growing a beard. Doesn't that sound like something that would live under a bridge that you should be careful of? So, this week, at some point, I would like for you to use the adjective troglodyte. I would like for you to teach it to your children and let me know how you or your children use the word troglodyte in a sentence because it's a great word. It sounds great. Kids love learning big words. And so, yes, troglodyte is the word of the week, and I'm very anxious to hear how you use it. Let me get our comments back up here. I see we got our salty savages in here. Dr. Zachary Smith, hello, my friend. Um, there could be good money in being a bearded lady. See, I think there used to be good money in being a bearded lady now, being a bearded lady before. Now I think it's passe, nobody really cares. I missed my window. Could I have grown a beard 10 years ago? I wouldn't be talking to you guys today. I'd be making bank with my beard as a troglodyte. Tennessee woman said I had long, straight, wavy hair, started thinning after menopause, and got the facial hair. It's menopause. Oh, that just breaks my heart. Look, I'm telling you, after I got so sick with COVID, I lost so much hair. And minoxidil for men, don't even bother with the one for women. It really worked. It took about 3 months. You got to use it every night. But I'm telling you, my hair started coming back and thickening back out. And about this time of year, I start back on it. And just because of thyroid problems, I think my hair is thinner than it used to be. It used to be super thick. But after I shaved it, it came back really fine and curly. I don't even know how that works. I mean, it's growing out of the same body and it came back totally different. Debbie says, we must be related. I have 3 facial hairs too. See, it's not just me, it's a thing. It's a thing. And see, here's the thing. I'm not I'm not excited about the facial hairs. Like you've got all of the people who I don't even know what to call them. The alphabet squad. And I don't say that with any contempt. You've got the alphabet squad who who's like trying to grow a beard. And here I'm doing it accidentally. And I feel like whatever's going on in my body, it'd be super cool if I could bottle it, I guess, bottle menopause and deliver it to the girls who really want beards. Cause there are girls out there who really want a beard. And I'm just not one of them. Don is not a big fan of beards. He said he's like, they're so light. And I'm like, you're lying. They're not light. Like this one that we pulled out, it's gone. And so now I mess with them. I'm like, is my beard coming in? Will there be a gustache too? I don't know. I don't know. If you guys know, you tell me. That's delicious. I am drinking red rooibos tea with wild orange doTERRA essential oil in it. So good. And a little bit of vanilla creamer and a little bit of honey. And it's freaking amazing. I had a cough all week, so I'm trying to stay on it. The other thing that I wanted to do was Bible verse, and I forgot to put it on the screen, so I'll just read it to you, but you guys are used to me reading to you. Our Bible verse this week is Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. I read that today and I thought, man, ain't that the truth? Um, Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Like when you try to tell somebody who is being foolish or irrational the truth, they despise you for it. Even though it's like the provable truth, they hate you for it. Um, and when they say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, it doesn't mean fear like you're scared. It means the reverence, the understanding, the awe of the Lord, understanding that the Lord made us all and everything here, and that God is omnipotent. And so knowing that is the beginning of all wisdom, knowing that God made everything, that God knit you together in your mother's womb, that God set the world in motion. That's the beginning of knowledge. And so I wanted to start doing some verses out of Proverbs because I think we're in this really weird time where there's so much lying going on. Like there's confusion, but then there's lying. Like I was talking to my older granddaughter who's 8, and she was telling me that she used to like Harry Potter, but she doesn't like um, J.K. Rowling anymore because J.K. Rowling is a terrible person. And I said, just because somebody has beliefs that you don't agree with or that your teachers don't agree with does not make them a terrible person. And it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy those books. A lot of people that were actually terrible people wrote books that are worthy of reading today. Um, and I don't know exactly what it is she believes about her. I just didn't want to get into that deep of a discussion because we don't get a lot of time with them, and I kind of wanted to enjoy the time. And we had the other 3 grandkids too, so it wasn't appropriate for everybody. But later on, she said she was really excited because she was going to a Taylor Swift concert. And I happen to know somebody who who drives the riverboats in Pittsburgh. And they take people from one side of the river, I guess, to the other side where the stadium is. And Taylor Swift was doing a concert there, and they were taking her and all the stuff over. And she treated everybody like dirt, like talked to people like they were her hired help, um, her slaves basically, and just, her crap didn't stink. So as soon as she said she was going to a Taylor Swift concert, I told her that. And I'm like, she's not always a very nice person, but you still enjoy her music. So I hope I made a little headway there. Who knows? Uh, Kay says, when I went through chemo, I was much more troubled by the clumps of hair falling out than shaving it all off. Yeah, me too. I'd wake up in the morning and it was like a creature had crawled onto the pillow and died. I wasn't having that. I get more compliments on my gray hair now than ever. Some people look amazing. Gray hair. Don's sporting a lot of gray, and guys are like that, aren't they? They get older, and the older they get, they're just so freaking handsome as they get older. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I think Don is so freaking handsome. It could be. Debbie says, John has enough beard for me. I don't want to look like Santa. No, just the 3. And if they came in a little thicker, I could put like a little bow or a little clip there. Wouldn't that be cute? Have like accessories for my geared. If you guys have any geared accessories, I could use like all the geared products. I could start a line just for geareds, like not, that would be for girls and it would smell girly and stuff. Because you don't want your geared smelling like Irish Springs or I don't know what a guys wear. I don't even know what cologne Don wears. My mom bought him cologne for Christmas one year, and she bought my husband the same cologne that my father has worn for years. And I mean, you just can't do it. You can't do that. And I'm like, Mom, I crawled into bed with Don the other night and he smelled like Dad. And that was the end of all activity for the evening because that was in my head. I'm like, you've got to go shower. This, it was like a total mental. I literally was like, you have to get up and shower. I can't go to bed with my dad. That's so gross. Please. It smells great on my dad. I'm trying to remember what it is Dad wears. Anyway, moms, don't buy your sons-in-law cologne or your sons even that smells like the dad. It's the creepiest thing. It's creepier than a geared. It really is. Ooh, yum sounds delicious, Tennessee. Debbie says my granddaughter used to say my hair looks like chocolate and sugar. I told you that I showed my grandson a picture of me like back in the day when my hair was super curly and whatever was going on in the 80s. I don't know. I guess it was early 90s. And he told me I looked like uh, Gloria Gaynor. Wow, that's loud. That's crazy loud. Do you hear the dog? We don't have a dog. Yes, Old Spice, Aqua Velvet. Dad smells. Yeah, my dad I think wears Lagerfeld or something, but no, my husband can't wear that. But anyway, there's all the nonsense that I thought we should just get out of the way right at the beginning. Um, I wanted to hold on. I wanted to show you some stuff here. If I can get my screen to go down here. Got all my show notes up here so I can see them. Oh, I just don't want to talk about that yet. You know how you get all this news that you need to talk about, and I try to hit on a lot of the news that didn't get talked about this week. If you guys don't follow the High Wire with Del Bigtree on Rumble, um, you should follow it. They've got a really good video up. I'm gonna wait till they get some more supporting data on this one. It's a preprint, but if you guys have followed me a long time, you'll remember when Omicron hit. I kept saying that Omicron, to me, based on all the research I had done, seemed like a white hat virus, meaning I thought that it was created in a lab by people who were trying to derail this whole nightmare. And the reason I said that was because I was doing some really like rabbit holing, and I hope that's not like a dirty thing. I I said something once that I didn't know it had a dirty connotation. um, but we'll see. Now that's in my head. I'm having a total squirrel moment today. So anyway, there were a bunch of like computer nerds, like programming geeks, that were looking at the genetic structure of the viruses and tracing the phylogenetics, all that kind of stuff. So you get your first virus, right? The first rendition of it, the original virus. And as it infects each person, it mutates a little bit. Let's see when my hold on. Affected only on my end. Okay. Um, it mutates a little bit, and you can track those mutations back to the original strain. Well, with Omicron, you couldn't track it back. So Omicron hit in what, 2022, and it was like a bridge off of that original one, and it didn't have any of the lineage that all the other variants had. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, no, something's not right here. This is man-made. And I've thought that all the variants were man-made, and now it's looking like that might be true. So what was interesting about Omicron though was it was crazy contagious, but it wasn't making people very sick. And I thought, it's kind of like a white hat virus. Everybody's catching it, everybody's developing immunity, and they're not getting really sick and dying. That seems like something that white hats would do. So now the study comes out, I think it's out of Japan, and it's a preprint, so I'm not going to go over the whole thing. But this preprint comes out and they're talking. So they went back through all of the lineages of the variants of Omicron. So now there's variants of it. And the one thing that they found back in 2022 or end of 2021, whenever Omicron hit, was that it was missing something called ORF8, which is Open Reading Frame 8. And ORF8 in the other variants that weren't from Omicron, the variants that look like they genetically changed over time naturally as they would, ORF8 was this component of the virus that acted kind of like a cloaking mechanism in people. And so what it would do is it would kind of hide the virus so your immune system didn't see it until it had already replicated like crazy and you were already very, very sick. And then the body would have this overreaction with the immune system, and it would cause all kinds of problems. So for all the people that are like, COVID's not really a thing, it is studying genetics of it. Do I think it's a naturally occurring thing? Absolutely not. Coronaviruses are naturally occurring, and I think these were lab experiments um, gone awry. I don't know. But the interesting thing about this was they were looking at all these variants of Omicron, And so generally, Del Bigtree did a really good job explaining it. He said, so they would go through these variations. So, like, here's the first one. And you would see, pretend the virus is a person. This one's missing a leg. And then in the next iteration of it, the leg was back, but the arm was missing. And then in the next iteration, the arm and the leg are back, but the nose is missing. That only happens in a lab. That's not the natural progression of a virus. And so when you put that together with James O'Keefe's undercover research, where they're talking to the guy who is one of the science people at, I believe it was Pfizer, and he was talking about how they were manipulating the virus in the lab so that they could see what strain would happen next. When you start, it's hard because, as you get further and further into whatever BS they're pulling next, um, people have really short memories because they're trying to live life in the meantime, and they forget all these little things. But I have like some weird geek brain, and so as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh wow, um, this would make sense for because of this thing with James O'Keefe, where this guy said that Pfizer was actually manipulating the virus, creating their own variants so they could get ahead on vaccine development. I mean, how these people are horrible, horrible, horrible. Kay says Brett Weinstein and John Campbell both said separately and almost immediately that Omicron looked like it had developed in a mouse from the alpha strain before entering circulation. Yeah, so the thing about that is, so they're talking about that original strain, and it looked like it came from there without any of the mutations, and they were trying to figure out how that would happen. What did it just sit in a person and simmer for over a year and then emerge? I mean, that just doesn't make sense. So I think more and more is going to come out. I don't know how much more is going to have to come out before people actually wake up to it. I think more people are waking up, which is good because golly, do we need it. Um, but anyway, that's a really interesting one as that comes out of. I don't know if they're going to let it stay because they keep pulling these preprints that have any semblance of real science to them. So I'm going to wait and see what the peer review is on that preprint. And then once we have some more official data, then we'll talk about that in more detail. I'm also getting a lot of people contacting me because they're getting sick with respiratory stuff. Some are getting tested and they're telling them it's COVID. Some people are assuming. Definitely doesn't sound like flu, but my goodness, my back is hurting. A big hello to you, Crystal. Um, but I've had a lot of people contact me on the protocol. They don't remember the protocol. They didn't keep hold of it. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll just do a show on the protocol and we'll go through everything because you can download it on my website, which is Witthealth Coaching. No. Yeah, Witthealth Coaching, WITT Health Coaching, all one word. There's a free download there. I think a lot of people find it overwhelming and confusing because there's so many options in it. And the reason there's so many options in it is because people are so different and certain people can't take this or can't take that for whatever reason. So I've added a lot of um, different options for people. And I think I probably need to go through and like kind of categorize those and say, choose one from this category, choose one from this category. And then you've got a protocol that you can use. That way people can individualize it. I don't know if you guys caught the where the FDA came out, and I don't know if they're actually going to pull the cold medicines off the counter, but there's phenylpheniramine or something like that. It's the decongestant that they went to. Um, it's the one that people with high blood pressure can take. It's in a lot of the cold medicine that you can buy off the shelf. Apparently, they did something and said, oh, this doesn't work at all, which is interesting because people have been using it for years and finding relief with it. So I don't know if this is more to get it off the shelf so people don't have anything that they can take for relief if they do get something respiratory, or if it's legit. I just don't know because there is stuff that has been approved for years that we've later found really doesn't do all that much. It's kind of a placebo effect, or that the data in the trials was all BS. And so that happens. So it's hard to know where they lie to us so much, what's actually true, what's a lie, or what's in between. And so I wanted to let you guys know if they do take it off the market, and you need a decongestant. I know Salty was talking about Benadryl. Benadryl's not a decongestant. It's an antihistamine. And if your main problem is congestion, chest congestion, or head congestion, that's Benadryl's not going to help with that. It'll help with sneezing, itchy throat, itchy watery eyes, that sort of thing. You can still get regular Sudafed that or medicines that contain the original pseudoephedrine. It's over the counter still, but you have to ask the pharmacist for it and show your ID because people were using it to make meth. You can use that as long as you don't have blood pressure problems, benign prostatic hypertrophy, enlargement of the prostate. It can cause you to have more difficulty urinating. But so if you need a cold medicine with a decongestant, you can get it over the counter. I just want you guys to know that so that you're not out there suffering if they pull that off the shelf. Crystal says she saw that. Yeah, it's been around for a long time. I never found the decongestant in that to work very well. So if I've needed a decongestant, I've always gone to the pharmacist and asked for just regular Sudafed. But a good thing to know there. The other thing that you can do during cold and flu season, if you go to my website and you download the protocol, there's a recipe there with all the links for it on how to make a betadine, a very dilute betadine nose spray. And the cool thing about, and this is for colds, flu, anything. The really cool thing about it for prevention is that iodine off gases for 3 hours. And betadine is what's known as a surfactant. And so most respiratory viruses have a shell on the outside that's made of lipids or fats. And surfactants, like dish soap, things like that, don't put dish soap up your nose. But surfactants pull off that fatty coating, and the fatty coating has all the spikes on it. So once you pull that off, it can't infect anything anymore. And that off gases for 3 hours. So you're protected for 3 hours from the time you use it. So it was really great during COVID because it really protected people. And I had been pushing doctors. I'm like, please, start encouraging people to do this. They just need to do it a couple times a day while they're out. Or you can just put a couple drops of povidone iodine or betadine, it's the same thing, in a sinus rinse and rinse your sinuses out, and whatever's in there will get flushed out. This is part of why hand washing is so important, because soap has surfactants in it. And if you've got viruses on your hands, doesn't work for bacteria, it'll wash bacteria away. But the way it works for viruses is it strips that coating with the spike proteins off. And so teach your kids that, because kids don't understand the importance of hand washing. But when you show them that there's this little spiky thing on the outside, and the soap actually dissolves it and washes it away, and then whatever was on your hands can't make you sick, you'll get a lot better compliance. Is it in stuff like Mucinex? I would have to look. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, what is up with my back? I never have backaches like that. Saline in distilled water with well, you don't even need distilled water. Saline, you can just use saline with neti pot, clears my nasal congestion. It'll also flush out whatever is in there. Lord, I hope I don't have a kidney stone. Hopefully this settles down, because we'll have to quit if it doesn't. Wow. Hi, Wayne Rash. Wait a minute. That's Ashley. Hi. She made it. That's so awesome. So let's go to our first story here, and we'll get through as much of this show as we can. Hopefully that settles down. Share the window. Hold on, let me get us to the right page here. I already put this up here and it's gone. Isn't that weird? Okay. Oh no, it's still okay. So this is from the Gateway Pundit. Oh my goodness. Gateway Pundit, case with Biden White House. That's a weird way to say that. Maybe I copied that wrong. Oh, the case with the White House goes to the Supreme Court. Biggest First Amendment case in modern U.S. history. SCOTUS is going to take up the case. So if you didn't know about this case, what was going on was, this is the Missouri v. Biden case. So in the Missouri v. Biden case, oh my gosh, I may not be able to do this. Huh. Guys, I don't feel good. Something's not right. We'll give it a few minutes and see if it settles down. Oh my goodness, that's nauseating. So Missouri v. Biden is a case that Missouri The case was happening in Louisiana. Tracy Beans was covering it. In the Missouri v. Biden case, what was going on was attorneys general and other parties like Gateway Pundit had taken the Biden administration, a bunch of people like Fauci, Biden, all kinds of people, had taken them to court on their censorship activity and how they had censored people on Facebook and Twitter, different things, when they were trying to bring out information on COVID. And so the judge in Louisiana gave them a partial win, but didn't give them everything they wanted. So instead of the White House just leaving it and taking that partial win, they decided they're going to take it to the Supreme Court because they think they can win there. And I think what's going to happen in the Supreme Court is they're going to lose on everything and not just the few things. Oh my goodness. Oh man, it would suck so bad to have kidney stones. I've had a good little spell without them. Okay, yeah, that's it. I'm nauseous. I can't do it. Man, pray it's not kidney stones. I think kidney stones because they come on sudden like that. Okay, we'll try one more time. No, I can't do it. All right, guys, I love you whole big bunches. I don't know what's going on. Oh my goodness. So just pray, son of a gun, that it's not kidney stones because A, I don't want to spend the evening in the ER, and B, kidney stones really suck. And I'm going to, I'm going to close. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll give you an update as soon as I can.